This is the EasySMX S10 controller for Switch 2, an affordable Pro Controller option that has the unique benefit of offering pretty much every single major feature that you'll find on the first-party Switch Pro Controller, while also leveraging a couple of its own specific upgrades you're not going to find there, coming in at a affordable and honestly pretty aggressive price point. And so today, EasySMX has sponsored this video so I can show y'all all the special features that it has to offer. Now, it is worth pointing out right away that while this is being marketed primarily as a Switch 2 Pro Controller, for a good reason, there's a lot of things that are specific to that system worth talking about. It can actually be used on a number of other platforms, including PC, iOS, Android, and of course the original Switch as well. Now, I want to start with special features because I really want to highlight all the things that this has in common with the official Switch Pro Controller, and then we'll get into some of the other things it has to do on top of that. But there really is a lot of core functionalities here that are being preserved that you don't always see in third-party options. A couple are fairly standard. You have motion controls, for instance, but you're also getting things like haptics that are closer to the official HD Rumble, where they're actually using the same motors in this one, giving that kind of variety where it doesn't feel exactly the same as the first-party controller, but it is far closer than a lot of other third-party options out there that rely on just traditional rumble motors that are just full force or nothing at all. And then something else you often see cut from third-party controller options that has made its way into this one is it does have an NFC reader. So if you like having the ability to scan Amiibo to take advantage of in different games, you're going to be able to use this controller for that. Now, as for features that are shared with the Switch 2 Pro Controller, there's a couple things this thing does that you don't really see out there. Some common features, for instance, you do have a pair of back buttons that are not only remappable, but you can also program macros for, so you can do different button combinations on there. I think one of the most interesting things, though, is the fact that this controller can wake up the Switch 2. That sounds like not a big deal if you have not been paying attention to this, but the thing is, because of changes Nintendo has made, the only controller normally that can wake up the Switch 2 is the Switch 2 Pro Controller. You can't wake the Switch 2 using a regular Switch Pro Controller. You can't use the vast majority of other third-party controllers out there on the market, but the S10 is capable of doing that. I do want to shout out that when I first opened it up out of the box, it wasn't able to do this, but I did a firmware update and it works just fine. And then one other thing it does that kind of cheats a little bit, it has a C button that doesn't actually operate the exact same as the official C button on the Switch 2 Pro Controller. Instead, what this one does is it's a pre-programmed macro that's going to navigate your way to the chat functionality. So it's still giving you that option in a single click, it just doesn't work out quite the exact same manner that the first-party option does. Next up, let's talk about button and stick feel. And the very first thing I want to highlight right away is how micro-switch heavy this controller is. All four front-facing ABXY buttons, the shoulder buttons, the triggers, all of these have a mouse-style tactile feedback that I personally really love. I know this is a thing that can be a little give and take for some folks, but it's something that I always like. It gives you a very clear register of when you're clicking the button. It gives you the ability to do very rapid presses in those situations where you want to press as quickly as possible. This is just a feature that I personally eat up, and I'm very happy to see present on this controller. Meanwhile, taking a look at the sticks on this controller, they've got a real nice tension to them. I like the snapback on them. The really important thing to point out is that this is taking advantage of TMR sticks. If you don't know what that is, this is basically the latest stick technology that's become a lot more popular in more pro-style controllers. Hall effect was kind of the move for a while because people wanted to get away from the potential of developing stick drift like the official Switch controllers were doing. TMR is kind of the next step up from that, where you're still getting that peace of mind of not developing stick drift in the same way as the older potentiometer sticks do, but also has the benefit of having greater precision than Hall effect sticks have. Taking a look at the D-pad of this controller, this is a swappable D-pad design. By default, when you first open it up, it's going to have the faceted style D-pad, which is my personal preference. This is the kind of D-pad you're seeing on, for instance, Xbox controllers, where you're given this kind of rounded shape, but still a very clear indication of the directionals up, down, left, right. This is particularly useful for things like rolling inputs and fighting games. If, however, you prefer the more traditional cross-shaped D-pad, which can have its uses for certain games, you are able to swap that off. It's just a magnetic connection, so it's very easy to just pull one right off and swap to the other one when you want. I think the easiest way for me to emphasize how I have found the D-pad on this useful is the fact that this is the controller I've been using as I make my way through Silksong, or I should say the controller I was using when I finished and beat Silksong, and I was using the faceted D-pad on that, got me through the whole game, no problem. Speaking of the swappable D-pad, there is one other customization feature about the S10 that is very interesting, which is the faceplate. When you first get the controller, it'll actually come with two different faceplate designs. There's one that has this kind of wavy, almost galaxy-style effect to it, which is the default one that came on my controller. And then there's another one that is a simple, clear-looking faceplate. Along with these, you're also going to get a whole bunch of decals in the bag that you can then attach to these faceplates if you want. So you're able to do your own personal customizations, the other things you want, or you can just take the decals that it comes included with and give yourself this fun little space design of the controller. Swapping the faceplates is also pretty easy. It just relies on magnets for basically holding it in place properly. You just have to make sure you slot it in the right way at the bottom, and the magnets are going to help hold it in place. Something else I want to point out too is that the S10 I've been showing off in this video is the black design. It does actually come in two different colors. This black one that has the clear faceplate shell that you can attach to it, and then a white one that actually comes with a light blue transparent shell that you can use for the faceplate instead, giving a bit of a different look. All in all, the S10 is set up to be a pretty aggressively priced alternative to the Switch 2 Pro Controller, offering a lot of the same key features along with its own upgrades. You're getting remappable back buttons, you have motion controls, you have the NFC reader, you've got HD rumble engines that again aren't the exact same but are much closer than any other option out there, and I think possibly most importantly actually, the fact that this controller can wake up the Switch 2, which is just not something you're seeing a lot of other options in the market do right now. And on top of that, you're still getting some extra features you don't have on the official Pro Controller, like being able to swap out that D-pad for the faceted design, and the peace of mind that comes with TMR sticks, so you know you're not going to be getting drifted down the line with this thing. So that's just a quick showcase of everything the S10 controller has to offer. I do want to once again thank EasySMX for sponsoring today's video showcasing this thing. If you're interested in grabbing one for yourself, you want to learn a little bit more about it, I do of course have a link listed down below in the description. As always, if you enjoyed the video, hit thumbs up button to let me know, subscribe if you haven't yet, and I will see you all later.